Well, hi, and welcome to podcast number 9. And this one is called Unlocking Your Priceless Potential. So I got some good things in store. I think you're going to love it. So let's get started. So today we are going to look at that price that God paid for each one of us through the sacrifice of his son, and how that divine act of love not only changed and transformed our life, but continues to every single day. And it doesn't really matter what other people see in us. It doesn't really matter what we see in us. What really matters, like number one, is what does God say? What does he say about who we are? What does he say about the value we have, about our identity? Those are the things that matter, because his opinion is really the only one that counts. Even though we might lean on what other people have told us, when it gets right down to it, it only matters what he says. Well, there is a show. It's called Antique Roadshow, and you've probably seen it. It's a great show. I love that show. If you've never seen the show, what happens is people bring in their stuff. The stuff that's been in their attic, the stuff that was passed down in their family, all those antiques that, nobody wants around anymore. I love antiques. I do love them. Mark really doesn't like them so much, but nonetheless, get back to my story here. What people do is they bring their antiques into this roadshow, travels around. And so people could bring in things that are worthless, like rusty junk, or they could bring in priceless things that are worth a lot of money. And so the fun thing about this show is you don't know what it is. Like, is it priceless, or is it like just a piece of junk? It could be anything, and you don't know until the appraiser looks at it and then he tells them, and that's when they're like, oh, or
I knew it was just a piece of junk.
So this one episode, July 10th of 2010, this woman brought in what looked like a piece of wire, what looked like it had guitar picks hung off the end of it. And her story was that her aunt had received it from the artist Alexander Calder. Now, he is a famous artist who did mobile sculptures, very famous in galleries, museums around the world. But the story goes that this woman's aunt had made a needlepoint pillow of one of his works. One of his sculptures was part of the needlepoint on the pillow, and she gave it to him as a gift. And he was so amazed at her workmanship. He'd just never seen anything like that before. So they must have known each other. I don't know how they knew each other, but a couple days later, someone shows up at her doorstep, and they have this piece of art from him, and he just wanted to give it to her as a thank you for the needlepoint pillow that she had given him. Well, it had stayed in the family, and this woman, now the niece, brought this in to the Antique Roadshow to see how much it was worth. And of course, it was an Alexander Calder original. It had never been out there before. And so what the appraiser said was that it was worth $400,000 to $1 million. And that is the fun part about the show, is you could get somebody bringing in something that's worth that much money. How are things appraised? How do we know that it was worth $1 million as opposed to it's just a hanger with some guitar picks stuck on it? We know it because there is this expert appraiser who looks at it and knows what people are willing to pay for it. So really it comes back to, what are people willing to pay, and what does the appraiser think people are willing to pay? And that's what I want to look at today. What was God willing to pay for our lives? And there are 4 scriptures in the New Testament that talk about this. 1 Peter 1:18, and it says, "For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, but you were redeemed with the precious blood of Christ." So what does this mean? It means that God purchased us. He actually paid a price. And what was the price that he paid? It was the blood of his Son, of Christ. That was what he was willing to pay for us to be his children. It says in 1 Peter 1:18, you were redeemed. Now, the word redeemed, we don't really use that word very much anymore. You don't hardly ever see that word used. But I did see it in my childhood, and I know I am dating myself. But what we had was we had green stamps, and we had green stamp stores. I used to tell this to my high school art class, and they would just be, like they didn't even know that happened in life. But if you are, let's say, of the older generation, you may remember green stamp stores. And so when I was a little girl, what we would do is we'd go to the grocery store and buy our groceries. But then when they gave you the receipt, they would also print out these green stamps. So then you would take the green stamps home, and then you would lick them and you would stick them in your green stamp book. And when you got enough books full of all these green stamps, you would take them into a green stamp store. And they called them redemption stores. And it was because you were going to purchase, you were going to redeem the green stamps for something. And you could go in there, you could buy toasters. I think we bought a toaster once. I really do. You could buy toasters, blenders. They're all new. It's all new merchandise. It's like going into Target, take 10 books and say, I want a toaster. And you just trade them your green stamp book for the toaster. I know, it's hard to believe that that's what we used to do. It's kind of after the Depression, I think. I'm not that old, but I think it was, like, let's help these poor people. Let's give them some green stamps. I don't know. Not to veer off of my point, that is a redemption store. We would go and redeem our stamps for these items. So if you put this in our terms, what it's like is we were all in the enemy's store. Like he had captured us and put us in the store. We belonged to him. And there's actually scriptures about that too, but I'm not going to get into those right now. We belonged to him. And then Jesus came in, and he didn't have a green stamp book. He came in with his own blood. And he said, I want to pay for the whole world, and I'm going to buy all of these people back. And enemy couldn't do anything. And so he marched out of the store with everybody that he purchased. Now, maybe not every single person's going to accept it. You know, he's not going to force it on anyone. You have to accept it. You have to say, yes, thank you for that. I accept that in my life. But he still did it for every single person. So what price did he pay? He paid with his blood. That is priceless. So what value are we? If we were in the Antique Roadshow, which I think I could qualify to be in the Antique Roadshow. But anyway, if we were, the appraiser would say, well, somebody is willing to pay for you with the blood of Christ, which is priceless. So boom, you have the value of priceless. And it says, the scripture is John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He loved the world. He did it for every single person. He gave his son and paid for every single person. So when we're out and about and you're with people and you're looking at people, we could just look at them and say, you are priceless. Like, you are priceless. You are priceless. Just everyone. Jesus paid his life for your life. That makes you priceless. So the world does not think this way. But if we think about it, how does the world value people? We value people by their net worth. How many things have they collected in their life? How much money have they gathered? How many things have they, how many yachts, airplanes, blah, blah, blah. How many things do they have? That is what tells us in the world how much you're worth. And they call it your net worth. And I was very curious, and I wanted to see what What is the most valuable person in the whole wide world? So if the world was the appraiser, who would they say was worth the most money? And actually, it just came out. I just saw it on the news. The Forbes, is it Forbes? Came out with the list for 2024 on the most valuable people. And who we have top of the list is the family, Bernard Arnault and his family. And they are worth $233 billion. And they have a luxury fashion and cosmetic company in France. And they did very well in cosmetics and luxury items, I guess. So they're number one. They are the most valuable person so far. Number two, you guessed it, Elon Musk. He comes in at $195 billion. He has been busy. He's been very busy. And so that is his network. He's number two. Number three, yes, you guessed it again, Amazon's Jeff Bezos. He is worth $195 billion. And then number four is Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, worth $177 billion. What is going on? So according to the world, these four are the four most valuable people on the planet right now. But you know what? That's not true. No, that's not true. That is actually not the truth. It might be a fact, but it is not the truth. The truth is that every single person on earth is priceless. Priceless! Every single person is priceless. What about the person who has absolutely no money at all? Nothing. Priceless. Now, believing it is a different matter. You see, Elon Musk, he knows he's worth a lot. He's got the bank statements to prove it. He knows it. But the person that has absolutely no money at all, according to the world, they also have proof that they're worthless. They think they're worthless. And that's not what God says. The praiser is God, and that's who we have to listen to. So when we come up to another human being, we just have got to get to the place where we look at them and then we say, you are priceless. God gave his son for you, even though maybe you don't even know it. Maybe you think you're worthless. Maybe you were told as a child, you will never amount to anything. That's not true. Because even as a child, you were priceless. When you were born, priceless. Now, priceless. Doesn't matter what you've accomplished. It matters what God thinks about you. And it says that he so loved the world that he gave his son. He loved you. You. Yes, I am talking to you right now. He loved you. And because he loved you, he was willing to pay that price for you. He bought you back. He bought you back. So when you think about yourself, think about how much he loves you. That's a lot of love. That is a lot of love. I just want to encourage myself and you and anybody watching this podcast that we would look at ourselves and at one another at that price that he paid, and then walk accordingly. Walk as that priceless gift that he's given to the world. Do you know that you are now a gift to the world because he's put himself in you? He has called you out, put himself in you, and now you are his gift to the world because now he can work through you and impact the world, impact other people with his kindness, with the same love that he gave you when he bought you back. So today, when you are out and about and you look at someone, think, you are priceless. Hey, better yet, go up and tell them. Just say, I just have to tell you this because I saw you over standing there. I just have to tell you, you are priceless because God gave his son, which is priceless. So that is the value that you have. So Anyway, you are loved, you are priceless, and you are God's best. We'll see you later. Bye.